Howdy everyone, welcome back to another video. Before we begin, I'd like to thank my wonderful members of the channel. Thank you so much Moonsita, Spectral Filmer, Andy, Newgom, Roger, The Fake Spaghetti, Tisha Bay, Suzer Risard, and Life for supporting me and my channel. Your support means the world to me. Again, thank you. Today, I'm going to break down 1x4's abilities and show you the full potential of this killer. Without a doubt, he's very strong, but he's also a very tricky killer to master. So without further ado, enjoy the video. 1x4 is the ranged killer of Forsaken. His abilities are primarily used to close the distance or just outright kill survivors from afar. So, allow me to break down his passive and abilities, and then show you how to properly use them. We begin with his passive, Parasitic. Parasitic makes it so everything 1x4 does inflicts glitched or poison to some degree. Glitch makes it so the survivor is slightly blinded by particles, and they also take 33% more damage from literally anything. The higher the tier, the more damage you take. Poison makes you take 2 damage per second. For each tier higher, you take more damage and the tick damage gets quicker. With that said, let's move on to his actual abilities. Starting with his M1s. They're difficult to use, but easily the strongest in the game. They only do 20 damage, and are just as slow as a John Doe M1, though the upsides thoroughly disregards the downsides. The M1s apply 5 seconds to both Glitched 1 and Poisoned 1, which stack repeatedly until Glitched 3, making your M1s do up to 40 damage per hit. On top of that, they only have a 1.75 second cooldown, allowing you to quickly stack your damage, and makes missing an M1 a lot less punishing. Next is his ranged Mass Infection. Mass Infection is a thick projectile intended to be used for gigantic damage. It does 35 damage, inflicts Glitched 1 and Poisoned 1 for 5 seconds, and only has a 14 second cooldown. However, it has a 1.7 second windup, and locks you in place during the duration. Mass Infection is very tricky to land since it's fairly slow enough for the survivor to dodge consistently. However, it's never really a guaranteed dodge, it's just extremely difficult to predict survivors' movement. I'll cover predictions later, so for now, let's talk about the second variant of Mass Infection. Mass Infection has a close range version of the ability that turns it into the most damaging ability in the game. It's kind of gimmicky though, because Mass Infection actually has 2 hits, the normal projectile, and another one if a survivor is point blank. The point blank variant only does 5 damage, and actually counts as a melee rather than a projectile, meaning guest block can parry it. However, the close hit applies Glitch 3 and Poison 5. Because Glitch makes the survivors take more damage, the range damage on top of the close variant does a humongous 58.33 damage. If we include the poison, it does a total of 75 damage, which is absolutely incredible. There's a few ways to land close range Mass Infection, and one of them involves the next ability, Entanglement. Entanglement is a thin, fast projectile that travels much faster than Mass Infection. Hitting a survivor with Entanglement will lock them in place until they close a bunch of windows. Furthermore, it applies Helpless for 10 seconds and gives you a Speed 2 boost for 3 seconds. It also has a very small 18-second cooldown. This move basically lets you catch up for free as long as you land it with the gigantic speed boost it provides. Though, during the windup and toss of the ability, you're locked in place, meaning if you miss, you lose a decent amount of distance. It also doesn't apply Glitch or Poison, and only does 10 damage, so it's really just utility meant for catching up. And here's the thing, Entanglement is really good for catching up, but so is Unstable Eye. Unstable Eye holds you still during the windup and applies Blindness 3 for 6.5 seconds, making it incredibly hard to see. However, and this is a big however, it gives you Speed 1 for 6.5 seconds, and reveals all the survivor's aura for about 5 seconds. This ability is extremely useful for catching up to survivors in a chase, and a lot of them don't expect you to close the distance so quick. What? Despite how clear I may have hit this guy on my screen, there's a really large likelihood that I wasn't even close on his screen. If you want to prevent lag from interfering with your gameplay, then I highly recommend Lagofast. Lagofast reduces ping by finding the server best for your region while increasing FPS by optimizing computer settings. To download it, you can use the link in my description for a 24-hour free trial. To create the best experience for you, go to PC, search Roblox, click onto it, select which server is best for you, then boost. On top of that, you can click on the FPS boost tab, customize it however you like, and click Start Booster to further optimize your frame rate. Once the trial expires, you can use my coupon code HOWDY to get 30% off with Lagofast. I absolutely recommend this for anyone struggling with high ping or low frame rate, so please, give it a try. Now, on with the video. 1x4's last ability is Rejuvenate the Rotten. Rejuvenate the Rotten can only be used after at least one survivor is killed. It resurrects as many survivors you've killed as a minion in whichever position they died, and will not despawn unless the minion is killed. All the minions' auras are revealed to you permanently, and killing your own minion will grant you a speed 1 boost for 10 seconds. The really crazy thing about this ability is the fact that you can stack the speed boost all the way up to speed 3. Now, with all the abilities covered, let's get a little bit more in depth with things that you can do to land them more consistently, or just overall use better. Starting with Mass Infection, you're going to be using this ability a lot. I found major success when using this move at a close or medium range. Using it at a super long distance allows the survivor to react where you're aiming and dodge the other direction. Of course, if we ignore walls. When using it at a close or medium range, you want to try aiming it in a direction that covers 2 options at once. Let me clarify. When a survivor sees you using Mass Infection, they have 3 choices. They can dodge left, they can dodge right, or they can just keep going in a straight line. When you're aiming Mass Infection, you want to try covering them dodging in one direction as well as running straight. At a close and medium distance, this is extremely possible since the projectile is very thick, and unless they have a lot of distance, they can't really avoid the actual projectile itself. Lastly, I think it's safe to mention that you can sometimes ignore chase for Mass Infection. For example, while chasing a survivor, you can use Unstable Eye and notice somebody on a generator. They're probably not worried since they know their ally is being chased, and you can just send a Mass Infection at them for humongous damage. Overall, the range variant is used to get huge damage on survivors that gets the wrong way to dodge, and is also good for punishing survivors that stick on generators. As for the close range variant of Mass Infection, there's really only 2 ways to land this. Most players know after landing Entanglement, you sometimes have enough time to run up to them with a point blank Mass Infection. Experienced players though will not get hit by this and simply avoid it entirely. However, there's one other extremely specific time where you can use close range Mass Infection, punishing guest block. Against a guest player, if you're confident in when they're going to block, you can instead replace an M1 for a Mass Infection, and they're put in so much end lag that it's completely guaranteed. As for Entanglement, you can kinda use it whenever you want. It's really difficult to land, but once you get used to the windup and speed, you can fairly easily land it from any distance, so long as it isn't completely across the map. Landing it is extremely important, because no matter what situation you're in, you're closing the distance by a lot. Unlike Mass Infection though, you can't cover 2 spots at once. You have to actually aim where you think they're going to juke, making it extremely difficult to land. The most effective way to use this ability is behind walls and predicting where survivors are going to run. And just like Mass Infection, using it on survivors outside of chase is even sneakier since they can't see it coming with an audio cue. Unstable Eye is also a great move. As you saw in the clip earlier, it's great for closing the distance quickly, which makes both of your projectiles super duper effective. It also just makes your M1s naturally stronger since you can usually catch up in time for the bonus damage with Glitched. The only time I use it for its aura reading is in very specific situations. I use it at the very beginning of the game, which helps me land easy entanglements if someone is on a generator, or just lets me get to them really quickly with the speed. I also use it in chase when a survivor runs behind a wall. It lets me easily predict where they're running and land an entanglement. Meanwhile, they have no idea what I'm doing. And of course, I use it when I get lost. Sometimes there are survivors that just hide in the middle of the game, so using Unstable Eye to find survivors is fine, but you should really only do it if you genuinely have no idea. It's really good to have the speed boost of Unstable Eye. Lastly, Rejuvenate the Rotten is by far what makes him an outstanding killer. A good way to use it is popping it once half of the people in the lobby are dead. So if you've killed 3 survivors when there's 6 of them, it's a good time to pop it. Though, popping it at least 4 to 5 of them dead is always amazing. And of course, if you're having a really strong game and don't even need minions, saving until you kill everyone but the last survivor is unstoppable. Killing the minions is always a good thing unless they're cornering survivors. Smacked up by minions right now, who's that? Oh hey,
And I was on weakness, I didn't even see him, I was looking at my phone notifications, bruh.
Oh hey,
shrill
oh hey! On top of that, you can use close range Mass Infection on a minion to get speed 2 off of 1 minion. It's insane. So yeah, you basically just use the minions to cancel out some areas, or just have it to be a convenient speed boost while chasing a survivor. It doesn't necessarily synergize well with any of his abilities, but his M1s with high speed are incredible, since you can always keep up with the survivor and just infinitely stack damage until they're dead. And technically with Unstable Eye, it's an okay synergy, because if you kill a minion, the speed boost from them also stacks with the Unstable Eye speed, which is kinda weird, but hey. And that's about it. 1x4 is extremely versatile and has an incredible last man standing of the current 4 killers. Thank you so much for watching. Reminder, I do a poll after every video so you can vote for what I make next. I also have a Discord that y'all can join and be a part of my growing community. Link is in the description. Or you can type discord.gg/howdy to join. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.